Hi, my name is Kyle and I'm going to be talking about death penalty. According to the website criminal.finelaw.com, some serious criminal offenses are punishable by death. Most often violent homicides where it's determined by the jury that the convicted offender lacks remorse. Capital punishment, commonly referred as to the death penalty, remains controversial and has been outlawed in some states. Death penalty is something that started very long ago. According to the article History of Death Penalty Laws, the first recognized death penalty laws date back to 18th century before Christ and can be found in the code of King Hammurabi of Babylon. This punishment started to spread and become more common along the history. More places started to adopt this method because they thought it was the most effective method of punishment. It got to a point in which some of the places would penalize people with death penalty because of stealing, cutting down a tree, and robbing a rabbit warren. Nowadays, things has changed a lot, and death penalty is not as common as it used to be. Most of the places started to abolish this kind of punishment as the democracy started to take place. People started to see death penalty as unusual and cruel. We can see how big the difference is by using some statistics. According to the article Recent Death Penalty Statistics, in the first decade of the 21st century, 551 people were executed, while in the 16th century around 72,000 people were executed during the reign of Henry VIII. The death penalty is an option of the state and the governments to decide if it's allowed or not. Most of countries and states decided to abolish it along the time, but some of the places it's still allowed. In the United States, 33 states it still allows the death penalty for certain crimes. I think death penalty should be abolished for all kinds of crimes, for three main reasons, which are: the first one is that justice is never 100% sure about the criminals. Even though they say they are not. The second, it's more expensive to execute someone than the person being in prison for the rest of her or his life. And the last one, death penalty is human rights violation. The first reason why death penalty should be abolished is for me one of the most important ones. We all know that humans are not perfect. No matter how no matter how developed a justice system is, it will always remain susceptible to human failure. So why would the government or the justice take a chance of killing someone that is innocent? It does not happen few times. A lot of innocent people has been executed because the justice made a mistake. And the wrongful execution of an innocent person is a mistake that can never be rectified. If you have ever seen the movie Life of David Gale, for sure you know what I'm talking about. In the movie, David Gale is a prisoner on death row in Texas. He was head of the philosophy department of the University of Texas and also an active member of Death Watch, which was a group campaigning against capital punishment. The journalist that was following the case found an evidence that would prove that Gale was not guilty, but the videotape was only found in the day of Gale's scheduled execution, which means that the journalist did not have enough time to prove that he was innocent. So after the execution, the videotape was released and proved to everyone and even to the justice that they are never 100% sure and that they can still make mistakes. A lot of people, when asked why they are in favor of death penalty, most of their arguments are, why would the government pay for a person to stay the rest of their life in the prison? And they are all wrong. Numbers and statistics prove that to execute a person costs a lot more money than keeping the person in jail. According to the website deathpenalty.org, death penalty trials are 20 times more expensive than trials seeking a sentence of life in prison without possibility of parole. It's also showing that California has spent more than $4 billion on capital punishment since it was reinstated in 1978. California currently spends 184 million on the death penalty each year. These are money that could be invested in something that is actually worth, like changing the system in the prison in a way that the criminals are going to learn, or treatments for people that has committed crimes like murder or rape. It's easy to notice how people get out of jail thinking in the same way they got in, which means that they were never taught anything while they were in jail. According to the International Commission Against Death Penalty, the death penalty is incompatible with human rights and human dignity. The death penalty violates the right to life, which happens to be the most basic of all human rights. It also violates the right not to be subject to torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Furthermore, the death penalty undermines human dignity, which is inherent to every human being. The death penalty is contradictory because at the same time that the government wants to apply the human rights, they have the rights of killing someone, what does not make a lot of sense. People should at least have their basic rights, which is the right of life. And also, all of the money that is spent with death penalty could be used to implement a whole new system that can actually help the criminals and people that are involved in this case. Thank you.